How a depressed teenager found Jesus and outscored everyone. It's the year 2024's CrossFit Games. Results have been announced. Only 22 years old, James Sprague has thrilled the fitness world by ranking as the fittest man on earth. With young blood in his veins, the guy has stunned many seasoned athletes. But nobody knows his CrossFit victory is bigger than his title. It's about beating his teenage depression. Want to know how the depressed boy transformed into a top-ranking athlete to outscore the rest of the world? The answer is in this video. Here, we'll rewind to show the amazing transformation of James Sprague. We'll discover everything from his motivation to his unique training regime and nutritional choice. Let's look back. James Sprague, who is the son of three-time CrossFit Games competitor Patrick Sprague, has won his second CrossFit Games championship in 2024. The boy has gained the victory that the father had once dreamed. Once a drunken person, sick of life, Patrick Sprague revolutionized his son's life by getting him into an athletic career. Since his childhood, Patrick infused the same sportsmanship in his son James Sprague that he owned. The time was hard when Patrick Sprague's separation from his wife put the kid James in depression. It was the time when Patrick Sprague had to effortfully pull James out of the worst consequences of their broken relationship. At that devastating moment, the loving and motivating father found James putting on excessive fat due to depression. James, who found himself lost amidst his parents' separation, didn't actually know what was going on inside himself. He was feeling vacant and lonely. So, the food became his resort. Patrick, the loving and wise father, took him for sports like swimming and CrossFit at the age of 14. For the next 2 years, James primarily sharpened his skills at swimming, which later helped to build resilience. During his entire childhood, James grew up watching his father as an inspiration and role model, so he got into CrossFit to overcome his broken self. He would put it this way: in 2013, I decided to try CrossFit with him. What prompted me was I was overweight, depressed, and didn't feel a sense of purpose. I saw other middle schoolers who were good at sports or writing or something, and I wanted that too. I wanted to be good at something that made me feel part of something greater. Little did I know, CrossFit would eventually lead me to Christ, and it was really God showing me my path. So, it comes to no wonder that James soon qualified in CrossFit teenage competitions just at the age of 16. From an early age, James had known the exact secret of success: struggle. You would hear him putting it this way: a lot of hard work from 17 to 21 years old to get to the games. So, those 4 years between the teenage games and my first individual appearance were very character building. There was a lot of patience, waiting for your opportunities, and a lot of failure. Then James found lifelong inspiration in 2016 when he watched his father competing at the CrossFit Games. The podium's atmosphere was electric. James could see athletes pushing their limits in the presence of a huge, roaring crowd. To him, the podium was a complete show of physical strength and skill combined with the compassion that athletes shared. He felt himself actually belonging to the sports world. This magical moment of realization brought James closer to his new destination. He was to prove his identity to be proudly related to this world of physical strength. So, what could he do next? Initially, things weren't as easy for James. His first workouts were way more tough, but quitting wasn't a choice for dedicated James. Yet, James improved with every training session, committing to becoming the best athlete. In fact, he was all after proving old fat James that he could carve his best version. It was about his rebirth. During his struggle, fun became his secret formula. Yes, he was seeking joy in his training, which kept him going. That's the reason, with every move and rep, he moved one step further to his goals. Training alongside James's dad also fueled his passion for the sport. Finally, in 2017, James made a huge breakthrough. He qualified for the CrossFit Games in the teenage division. It was his first major event, which came with remarkable success. James finished 4th in his age group. But this was just the beginning of the fittest man on earth for 2024. Unfortunately, 2018 wasn't a fortunate year for James. He had to face a setback because of a knee injury. However, James overcame his fitness challenge by focusing on recovery and training at the brute strength. By sheer hard work in 2019, just at the age of 17, James returned to the CrossFit Games major competition and finished standing 5th in the teen division. Another success solidified his place as a rising star in the fitness world. Luckily, at Brute Strength, James got everything to improve himself: expert guidance and a supportive community. At Brute, he started following more structured programs focusing on high-intensity workouts, Olympic lifting, and functional exercises. Under the guidance of Coach Matt Torres, he sharpened his skills and developed mental resilience. That's all that competition CrossFit requires. Dedicated athletes at Brute Strength's community motivated James to push his limits and qualify for the CrossFit Games in individual divisions. In 2021, James ranked 22nd in the CrossFit West Coast Classic semifinals. Although he missed qualifying for the Games, yet he could show his growth and readiness among many elite competitors. James translated his defeat to fuel his determination. Then, in 2022, he marked his remarkable growth by ranking at 6th and 7th in the Syndicate Crown semifinals and Last Chance qualifier, respectively. Still, these misses didn't go without awarding him with an identity, the identity he had been seeking since he got inspired by watching his father competing at CrossFit Games and CrossFit World. They also couldn't help noticing James's incredible strength. This recognition paved his road to the 2023 CrossFit Games. Soon, in 2023, the more powerful and more conditioned James finally earned his spot at the CrossFit Games as an individual athlete. This time, he was placed 25th. But what about the experience? Just invaluable. With almost 7 years of experience under his belt, James had learned what it takes to compete at the highest level and how he should handle pressure. So, in 2024, James made history. He became the youngest athlete ever to win the CrossFit Games. But the question remained, how did the young guy make it happen? Several things helped James to stand out. Each has its worth. If you ask James about his motivation, he would define it as his trust in God. According to him, God shaped his ways to become the best. He helped him to overcome his depressive eating, just like the way he helped his dad, Patrick Sprague, when he was battling against alcohol. God introduced his father to CrossFit sports, and then James too, only to help them overcome something bad in their life. At the age of 13, when James saw his father competing as a pro CrossFit athlete, he sensed his trust in God was keeping him going. At such a young age, James asked God for divine guidance to find the purpose of his life. So, he found guidance. And just at his middle school, James got rid of his unhealthy eating habits like indulgence in fast food and late-night sleeping. Then, as he got into sports, the divine guidance continued. To him, everything turned favorable. Better to call it James' positive self and his trust in God that made him believe in the process of God. He never let defeats dishearten him. James tells it this way: "Yeah, so both of us conquered something through CrossFit. God showed us that this could help defeat our addictions and sadness. We kept showing up, and it changed both of our lives. This may be the reason, every time, he grew more assertive. Thanks to his father's guidance, every failure became his step on the ladder of success." So, combined with his unshakable faith, dedication, hard work, and positivity, James Sprague covered a long distance from his obese teens to the fittest man under the sun with his mission he describes as, "At 13, I decided I wanted to be in the top 20 in the 14 to 15-year-old division. I committed everything to that goal and qualified when I was 15. My friends made fun of me, saying, 'That's so lame, you should hang out with us at 1 a.m., running around and doing crazy stuff.' Let's count on each ingredient from his recipe alongside his belief in Christ. His transformational journey is full of inspiration. He started his 5 times a week fitness routine with basic workouts. These workouts primarily focused on improving his strength endurance and mastering the essential movements. Tracking his progress, he kept on adding structured training to his routine. Can you guess what exactly he did? James practiced snatches and clean and jerks while focusing on explosive power and technique. While doing so, each lift required precision and strength. So, he added functional exercises like kettlebell swings, box jumps, and burpees, which mimic real-life activities. The combination helped him enhance his overall fitness. James knew very well that strength alone wasn't enough to be a CrossFit athlete. Sensing a need for conditioning and skill work, he also dedicatedly practiced gymnastic skills like muscle-ups and handstand push-ups. You might think how simple it was. No, while working on his pro-level fitness, James also needed an expert coach's help. There, Matt Torres at Brute Strength saved him. He helped James to refine his techniques and develop a structured training plan. Together, they would analyze James's performance and focus on areas for improvement. This personalized attention ensured James consistent progress, which eventually proved fruitful. And when it comes to consistency, even from a young age, James knew very well that discipline was the key to rebirth and transformation. So, missing a gym day wasn't an option. He would go to the gym every day to build a routine. However, he disciplined his training routine in his own unique ways. For example, he would divide his workouts throughout the day. These intervals would include training at the gym, going out, training in the garage, hanging out with his fiancée, eating meals, going swimming, and then going to the golf park. These breaks re-energized him for his next workout. Every time, he did the next training session with more energy and freshness. James was fortunate to have supportive people around him during his successful journey. These supportive peers and coaches always encouraged James to revolt against his older self and keep improving. The way they celebrated his victories made the hard work enjoyable. To James, it was like living in a family. Training comes with its own challenges. Can you imagine which is the biggest? Recovery and nutrition. However, for James Sprague, tracking macros was a big issue. Thanks to his nutrition coach, Justin from Foster Fit, who helped James during the past 5 years to adapt his eating habits in a way that didn't stress him about how many macros were left. Instead, he wanted to focus on other things regarding his training. So, Justin tailored his nutrition according to portion sizes. Additionally, he allowed James some flexible eating and allocated daily meals and snacks. So, what happened? James was equally energized in his intense training days and off-season. It was like never running short of power. Eventually, going stress-free but like a superhero came with the desired result. But you can't credit James's training strategy or nutrition alone. His mindset was a real game changer. In a true sense, James became a guy who could embrace every challenge and move one step ahead. For instance, in 2022, when James missed his qualification for the CrossFit Games by just 1 point, he used this defeat as fuel for his next appearance in the CrossFit Games. It was like turning disappointment into motivation. Before the next competition, he kept improving his performance. His resilience combined with a positive attitude set him apart. Don't be fooled to think such resilience came that easily. Since James entered into sports, he mastered various mental strategies to maintain focus and drive. He worked by dividing his goals into short-term and long-term. These goals helped him stay on track by rewarding him with enough motivation with each success. What else? Every time, James used the power of visualization to achieve a goal. He would imagine himself succeeding in competitions. This was like a mental rehearsal, which let him enjoy success before even having it. Results? He succeeded. Self-belief is another cornerstone of James' mental toughness. You can listen to him believing that he is there to win. When he is on the stage, he's there to crush others. But obviously, that's not a fierce James at all. It's only his attitude towards winning. Otherwise, you can observe him balancing his life by enjoying the journey, finding joy in training and competing. This perspective helps him stay grounded and focused on improving himself. He puts it this way: I try to be a student of the game each and every day to learn something new. My goal is to never stop improving, and so far on my fitness journey, I can surely say that I have been putting in the work to be where I deserve. It's a timely process to become good at this sport, and you have to truly pursue it with full heart each and every day. The advice I would give to younger athletes is to have fun, and if you are serious about the sport, find something every day in the gym that makes you happy and helps you enjoy the process more. Also, don't burn yourself out. When you feel like you need a break, take a break and listen to your body. So these are the secret codes James has cracked to emerge as the youngest athlete to win the CrossFit Games. His victory against several seasoned veterans has proved that age is just a number. One can acquire an equal skill set with the desired experience to reach the goals set for high. All it needs is personalized training, nutrition, and the right mindset. Only 22-year-old Sprague has stunned the fitness world with his unbelievable success. We don't know what more CrossFit championships he'll document against his name, but it's sure that to win over and over, he will need the same mindset, more spirit, and more hard work. That's because for every next win, you need to get better than your old self. You must grow bigger. But when it's about Sprague's effect on the CrossFit community, it'll extend far beyond his success. By now, you can watch him sharing his fitness goals, achievements, and off-season vlogs on his YouTube channel. One thing will surely impress you. It's his same fun-filled ways. He is doing every hard workout while enjoying and talking about it. As James Sprague looks to his future, his ambitions are sky high, even more than just defending his CrossFit Games title. Can you guess what? He's on a mission to cement his legacy among the sports legends. That's the reason you can see him sharing his fitness routine and motivation on his social media accounts. Plus, he is equally involved with other fitness experts and social media influencers. His true self shines when he openly discusses